This may seem to not make sense, but there's things that you shouldn't do for your clients that's actually going to increase your value in their eyes. When you think about it, it's kind of one of those things that requires very little input, but gives maximum output. You know, this idea of asymmetry. So here's a question to think about to illustrate this. Have you ever been planning for a client and you're evaluating whether a certain strategy would make sense for them? And you're looking into whether, let's say it's a Roth conversion. Should they do a Roth conversion this year or wait until the sweet spot in retirement or something like that? This is just an example, and it could be really any strategy. And actually, here's another strategy. Let's say that you're planning for a client and reviewing their allocation, and then you're seeing if it makes sense to rebalance this month. So you spend some time doing the work and then evaluating the pros and cons, and they don't know that you're doing this. And you're seeing that everything is in tolerance and there's no need to rebalance. So you now have two options. You know, you can either move on with your day, they don't need to rebalance, okay, nothing to do there. Move on with your day and then get to the next task, or take 2 minutes and then write an email to your client that just says, I was just reviewing your plan and allocation to see if it makes sense to rebalance right now, but everything's in order and no allocation changes needed. Good. Just wanted to share that with you. Hope all is well. Reach out if you need anything. A simple email like that probably takes less than a minute to write, and that increases your value because it communicated to your clients that you're thinking about them, you're monitoring things, and you're looking for opportunities for them. That's what they're paying you for. And that actually makes them feel really good that you're doing this. I heard this from Matt Jarvis, and he gives an example of the washing the dishes analogy. So if you're doing the dishes for your spouse, or just doing the dishes at home, and your spouse doesn't notice that you did them, do you get credit for it? Well, the answer is no. And I know we don't need to get credit for things we do around the house, but it's kind of nice to have that little act of service known by your spouse. But the same goes for your clients. If you evaluate something for your client and you decide not to do it, you should still let them know about it, and that increases your value. And by the way, I'm adding something to the end of the emails. It sounds kind of silly, and I put it in when I just mentioned the words in the email, but it's important. So I want to share why that is. But if this video is helpful so far, just these short, simple videos, please like this and subscribe so that I know, and you'll get more advisor-specific videos like this. So it might seem kind of silly, but it's kind of a easy hack to help your clients feel better. If you send them an email that has any sort of financial jargon in it or could be misconstrued in any way. We know how emails, you don't get any intonation, you don't have tonality in emails, and they can be misconstrued or thought of, come across in the wrong way. So if there's any chance of that happening, you and I both know with email, the true intention doesn't get communicated. So the simple hack is adding the word good to the end of a paragraph or a sentence where you used financial jargon. Here's the example. Let's say you had a review meeting and you discussed tax loss harvesting with that client and they agreed. And then you go ahead and implement that the next day and say, hi Jim, just went and implemented the tax loss harvest we talked about, and that's it. So you send that email and let them know that you did it. And even though you just talked about it, Jim may read tax loss harvest and he may not remember the benefit of it. And he may be thinking, oh, loss harvest, I'm losing something, I'm taking a loss. And we speak this language all day long and we know what it means, but a lot of people don't. And at the very least, he may be reminded that he has a loss in his account, and that doesn't feel good. And he may think a negative thing, which isn't good because you're not there to talk to him about it and explain it to him. But if you wrote, hey Jim, I went ahead and implemented tax loss harvest that we talked about, good, nothing further to do, or something at the statement to just remind him this is good. It's silly, but if you do it, then there's a lot less chance of them misconstruing the email. And they don't have to use any mental capacity to try to figure out if what you're doing is good or bad for them. And it's silly, it's kind of looks weird even when you send the email, but it's something that just clearly communicates via email to make sure that nothing gets misrepresented or misunderstood. So that's it. Hope that was useful for you. Leave a like and a comment if it was, and then I'll see you in the next video.